So we've been reviewing over the different ways to solve quadratics. So today, or this week, excuse me, for week 7, we're going to revisit the quadratic formula. Then this will be the last method that we look at. So then for our final week, week 8, we're going to do some quadratics from word problems. But this week it's the quadratic formula. So the first thing you're going to need to do on your paper is remember what the quadratic formula is. Okay, so we'll start off and we'll say x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Now, in order to get your a, b, and c, your quadratic's got to be in standard form, so that's one thing that we'll have to check for. Most of these are going to be. They're going to be ready to go, but we'll talk about that and check for that. So what I've got here, this says x squared minus 8x equals negative 7. So before I can use the quadratic formula, and before basically you solve any quadratic, you need it to be in standard form. You need it to set equal to 0. So our standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c is equal to 0. So right now we're not equal to 0, we're equal to negative 7. So we're going to add 7 to both sides. So we're going to say x squared minus 8x plus 7 is equal to 0. Okay, so now when we do these on our assignment later, we're going to show our stuff. We're going to label our a, b, and c. So for my assignment, if this were an assignment problem, I would say a equals, how many x squareds is that? And understood 1. B equals, take that sign with it, negative 8. And c equals 7. Now let me slam on the brakes here and just tell you that if I were working this problem on my own, this is factorable. Okay, I would go back to what I did on week 4 and I would solve this using factoring. But today, with quadratic formula, all of the problems on our assignment have to be done using the quadratic formula. So I'm going to plug these variables in where they go with my quadratic formula. So I say, whoops, come on, page. X equals, and it starts off with negative b. So that just means you use the opposite sign of your b. So my b is a negative 8. So the opposite of that will be 8. So x equals 8 plus or minus the square root of b squared. So remember, when it's a negative, it always helps to put that in parentheses. On your calculator, on the graphing calculators, you have to, or you'll get that wrong. Because you got to know that your answer here is going to be a positive. Anytime you square something, it's going to be positive. 8 times 8, or negative 8 times negative 8 gets you a positive. But your calculator, if you're counting on your calculator, you got to put that in parentheses. Alright, so we got negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times our a, which is 1, times our c, which is 7, all over 2 times our a, which is 1. Okay, so you're going to show me that step on your assignment. You're going to do that setup work. Now I'm just going to work through and start simplifying. So I'm going to have x equals 8 plus or minus the square root of negative 8 squared is 64. 4 times 1 is 4 times 7 is 28, so minus 28 all over 2. And then 64 minus 28, that's 36. So x is equal to 8 plus or minus the square root of 36 all over 2. The square root of 36 is 6. So I'm going to have, come on page, work with me here. X equals 8 plus 6 and divide it by 2 because plus minus. And then I'm going to have x equals 8 minus 6 divided by 2. That plus minus sign breaks this up into 2 problems for you. So 8 plus 6 is 14. 14 divided by 2 is 7. So there's one answer. 8 minus 6 is 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So, whoops, I don't know what's happening here. So x is 7 and 1. Okay? I'm going to go back and check those, just like we've been doing all week long, or all unit long, whatever you call this stuff. So, if I go, where's it at? This thing's acting up. Come on. I'm going to have to get up here and drag it. I don't know why it's acting up. Alright, so 7 squared is 49. 7 times 8 is 56. 49 minus 56, is that negative 7? Yep, good job. Our other answer was 1, so 1 squared is 1. 8 times 1 is 8. 1 minus 8, is that negative 7? Yes, it is. So both of those answers, right here, 7 and 1, are correct. Okay, so your assignment, let me find the ones I picked out for you here. Let's get a new page. This is AMI week 7. I'm just going to say quadratic formula. Okay, number 1 is x squared plus x minus 6 is equal to 0. Number 2 is x squared minus x minus 42 is equal to 0. Number 3, x squared minus 3x minus 28. So far, those are all in standard form. That's nice. Number 4, x squared minus 3x minus 4 is equal to 0. And the last one, it's in standard form also. I was nice to y'all. X squared, x squared minus 4x minus 12 is equal to 0.